Welcome to Voice Memos. I'm currently lighting a candle. Can you hear that? Is it like lovely ASMR or is it super annoying? Could go one way or the other. Yeah. But welcome. This is episode 48. We are coming in on episode 50, and I kind of want to do like a big thing to celebrate episode 50 because I am notoriously bad at celebrating these kinds of milestones. Celebration is really important to me for a variety of reasons, but the main reason is because, in my opinion, it's an act of worship. Like, celebration forces us to look back, to remember. Like, that's why we have the different kinds of holidays that we have, like Christmas and, Easter and even honestly, even like things like birthdays. Like, the idea is that we're looking back on our life and we're remembering what God has done and what's possible and what we've overcame. Whatever, you get it, right? So like celebration is important. Also, it's just fun. And fun doesn't have to have a deeper meaning to be really meaningful. But I am like really, really bad at remembering like the anniversaries of when I start things. Like time is tricky for me. I think it's primarily like an ADHD thing. Time blindness is really, really common for ADHDers. I tend to think about time less as like a real constraint and more of like a feeling. So like I'll say, oh, it happened 3 weeks ago because in my mind it feels like it was a long time ago, and that's what I've decided feels like a long time in this moment. But maybe it was 2 days ago, or maybe it was a year ago. I don't know. Truly, like that is that sounds dramatic, but like that is truly how I think about things. And so I tend to forget like when did I start projects. But I think I've been doing voice memos for over a year and a half. And I was hoping to be able to celebrate like a 1 year sort of anniversary, because that is something I want to be more intentional about. But I truly don't know when I started. Could I probably figure it out? Yes. But I'm going to go ahead and let you do that. If you figure out when was the first episode aired and message me, I don't know, I'll give you a virtual high five. It'll be great. But because I switched platforms early on in the beginning, and because voice memos was exclusive to email subscribers for the first like 30 episodes, if there's 52 weeks in a year, and I wasn't hyper consistent with every week for the beginning there, but in the earlier days, I did it 2 episodes a week. And so I kind of think if we like flesh out the average, probably 1 episode a week, right? Anyways, this is boring to talk about, and I'm sure it's boring to listen to. So we're just going to carry on. I'm going to do something fun for the 50th episode. I haven't decided what yet. I think maybe like a giveaway, and I don't know. Maybe I'll get a cake or something to celebrate. That would be fun. Do like a little photo shoot situation. I can't decide. I do have a lot of really fun stuff to give away. I have an Ember mug to give you guys. I have 2 copies of The Bible is for You devotional by She Reads Truth that I'm obsessed with. And it is by the company She Reads Truth, but they also have like a sub company called He Reads Truth. And it's for sure not gender specific, this devotional, The Bible is for You. I posted about it on my Instagram nonstop. You've probably gotten emails from me about it because I'm like truly obsessed with it. I think it's such a great resource for the person who is longing for routine in scripture, but struggling with the follow through. It's very easy. It's very low lift. It's also really perfect for the person who loves deep study like myself and craves deep study, but is in a season of life where they're very overwhelmed, very exhausted, and you don't have a lot of mental capacity to devote to the process of deep study right now. It's kind of like a good in between, I think. Anyways, it's really well written. The design is stunning. So I have 2 of those to give away. I have 5 different books that I have been saving to do a giveaway. So like I have a ton of things I really want to be able to share with you guys and bless you guys with. And I'm not 100% sure the best way to handle it. So I might do it like on Instagram and just do like a simple tag me kind of thing. I might do it with like everybody who shares the podcast. But in the past, I have to be honest, we need a meeting, guys. You and me, we have to have a talk because I requested help sharing the podcast and I haven't gotten tagged in a single thing. I even offered you free coffee. So check yourself, my friend. I'm going to leave a lot of awkward silence there so you feel the weight. Do you feel the weight? Because I really need your help. I'm joking, but also I'm kind of not, because I do generally need your help. Like, if this is meant to be a community, if this is meant to be a space where we get to chit chat and have these conversations, like I'm constantly saying, like, I don't want it to just be a monologue. I really want this to be a facilitator of deeper conversation, of deeper community. And part of me feels like when I pulled this podcast off private, it took some of that away. And so I'm trying to think of like, how can I insert that back in? Part of me is thinking like the community chat space on Substack, but I don't really like hanging out on the Substack app, to be honest. It feels like such an overwhelming space for me to be. Like, I don't know. I like the idea of it, and I find a lot of clients there, and I like that it's structured the way it's structured, but the app itself feels so stimulating to me, which is ironic because so many people are leaving Instagram and going to Substack because they feel like it's less stimulating. But to me, it stresses my little brain out. And I don't know why, to be quite honest. There's a lot of things I like about it, but we're not going to dive into that right now. But anyways, so I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to handle these giveaways. If you have any ideas, I would love to hear, because I want to bless you guys with these cool things that I've been like saving for you guys to share with you. I also might save it as like part of gifts for company retreat. No, I want to give them to you guys now. I'm just feeling generous. I just want you guys to know how much you mean to me and how important you are. And I just think that that's like such a tangible way that I can do that for you. I would really love to be able to bless you guys with some of these really incredible things. So maybe I'll do it on Instagram. I don't know. My people will get back to your people and we'll have a little like what's the word I'm trying to think of? Like a little meeting about it, right? Okay, but that's actually 6 minutes of me rambling on about nonsense, so I sincerely apologize. Let's get to the bulk of the show. I actually have something I really want to talk about that's been on my mind for a while, and that is this concept that I heard somebody say it at one point, and it has resonated with me since. And I don't know like the originator of this or like how this phrase started or if it's like the kind of thing that like, oh, it's just been around forever or what. But the phrase is like quantity time is like a precursor or is like sort of the foundational level that needs to be there in order for quantity time is a precursor to quality time. That sounds like a tongue twister, so let me say it one more time. Quantity time is a precursor for quality time. And I am feeling this right now in a lot of ways. Like, I have shared with you guys so much of what has been happening behind the scenes, and it's, believe it or not, just the tip of the iceberg. With my parents getting divorced, with a lot of like work stuff for Brian's job, with a lot of home stuff, with a lot of family dynamics, with like just like lots of things that could be small on their own, but because it's everything all at once, so much car troubles, like the whole thing where we had to turn our house upside down. Like, I don't need to give you a summary. You know. And if you don't, go back and listen to all the episodes because it's been crazy. And I think we're starting to sort of come up for air, but there's still a fallout from everything we've walked through in the last 6 months. Like, we're still in the thick of it, even though it's starting to ease a little bit, right? And something I have said from the beginning of this is I just feel so endlessly grateful that Brian and I have had like a really quality relationship through this. Like, I feel like we have done so much work in our 11 years of marriage to get to where we are. And I feel endlessly grateful that we have because it's like our lives are kind of falling apart around us. But our marriage has remained strong. And like, we're like ships in the night. Like, everything has been so high stress, so high tension, so hard. And that quantity time was lacking, which means that when you have a moment for quality time, like you're discussing bills, you're discussing like schedules, you're catching up on calendars, you're making sure everything is like all of the like admin stuff that comes to like just running a life and a household, especially with kids involved. Like, there's so many things. Like, I don't need to explain that to you, you know. But so when that quantity time is missing, the quality time suffers because there's so much expectation on that quality time, and that would have been spread out within the quantity time, but now has to be the bulk of the quality time. I'm really like, this is a tongue twister. But do you see what I'm saying? So in the last couple of days, I feel really grateful to be married to a man who is willing to have such hard conversations and willing to bring up the hard conversations. And so it's been an exhausting couple of days, but like in a good way, like I'm so glad we had these conversations. I'm so glad we worked through a lot of stuff, and we're both making some big changes. One of the things that I'm working on doing is getting up really early in the morning with him, even if it's for like 5-10 minutes, to be able to see him, just to add minutes to our quantity time bank. So like, I make him breakfast in the morning or coffee, definitely coffee, not always breakfast because priorities. But anyways, and we've been going through that devotional I was talking about at the top of the show, The Bible is for You. And not every morning do we get to read the like excerpt for that day. Some days we do, some days we don't. But it's been like a little thing that has added minutes to our quantity time bank to help us be able to actually enjoy quality time. And it's been such a blessing. And as I've been going through this with Brian, and as meanwhile, this will all thread together into be one central message. So stick with me. We have been in, like, speaking of like not knowing the anniversaries of things and having like a high value in celebration, but sometimes having a hard time following through on that. November is the month that we moved into the house that I'm currently sitting in, which was a journey in and of itself. Longtime listeners, you know, like everything that went into that was such a blessing, but such a whirlwind. And kind of after we moved in is when, wow, I keep saying the last 6 months, but I'm realizing now that it's really been the last 12 months of crazy hard, because it was shortly after we moved in that like shit kind of started to hit the fan. But whoa, I just need to take a sip of coffee and let that sit in for a sec, because wow. Anyways, so we signed a lease for another year, and I'm very grateful to be in the place that we're in. But, and like a tiny bit of backstory, we get to rent from really good friends of ours. And because of that, we get to live in a neighborhood that we otherwise wouldn't afford, and or wouldn't maybe even wouldn't prioritize is maybe the right way to say that, but for sure couldn't afford either. And so it's a thing that benefits us. It benefits our friends. It's like very much a win-win for all of us. And I feel so grateful. The way that God moved us into this house in and of itself was an incredible God story. And actually, you know what? I'm going to add it to my notes to add a link to an episode that kind of explains the backstory, if in case you've missed it, because it was really cool to just see, and like kind of comes back to that celebration and that remembrance, and like why it's important that we remember what God has done in our lives and why we celebrate, the good things and the bad things and the process that he's taken us through. We don't celebrate the bad things, but we can still hold space for them, right? Anyways, I say all of this to say it's been a year in this new place, and it still feels like I'm living in my friend's house. Like, it doesn't feel to me like we've really settled in. There's still boxes left to be unpacked. There's still pictures to be hung on the wall and shelves. Like, I've hung 2 things maybe on walls. And like, I am a person who likes a warm, cozy house. I want browns. Like, you can see me if you're watching the video of this. I'm wearing a brown cardigan because this chocolate brown has always been my favorite color, though I would not have always admitted to it because I think I thought it was lame and I needed a cool, fun color. But anyways, that's like when I say like my favorite season is fall. I said that out of peer pressure. My favorite season is spring, my friends. I love fall. I love a transition season because I don't want to be super sweaty or freezing cold. Let's be real about that. Spring is my favorite. And chocolate brown is my favorite, which those 2 colors don't really complement, or things don't complement each other, spring and chocolate brown, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. With chocolate brown being really trendy though right now, and it's not usually, I feel like I'm stocking up on all the chocolate brown things. And if you're looking for a place for good, cozy chocolate brown, like clothing items that are more affordable but long lasting, I have really had a lot of good success at shopping through Abercrombie and Fitch. But anyways, I'm ready for this house to feel like our home. But it kind of comes back to that quantity versus quality time. Like, the walls in this house are very gray. Everything in this house is very gray. And I really don't like it. Objectively, it looks fine. Objectively, it's beautiful. It's not my style. It doesn't feel like me. Also, we live in the Pacific Northwest where it's gray outside 80% of the time. Like, I just don't want gray everywhere I look. Like, I just don't want it to be like a dreary cloud on top of the dragon's mountain. You know what I'm saying? I need some warmth. I need some light. I need some coziness. And so I know how to accomplish those things in a home because I've always lived in rentals. And I can do that in a way that still moves into the home and makes it feel like me and prioritizes those things and prioritizes our comfort of not just me, but of my whole family, of being able to feel settled and warm and at home and in like sanctuary, right? Like peaceful, like coziness. Those things are such high priorities, not just to me, but to my whole family. And it's not been something I've prioritized simply because I could not. Like, we have been in a year of just get through the year kind of year. And I'm ready to prioritize. Oh my gosh, I have something stuck in my eye. And I keep trying to just think I can ignore it and blink rapidly. So if you're watching the video and you're like, what is wrong with her eye? That is what is wrong. But anyways, okay. I think I got it. No, I didn't. Oh my goodness. So I'm moving in. I bought a beautiful lamp. I am like starting to rearrange things that our house guest who is staying with us for several months has moved out, which is bittersweet. But as a result, like the kids each get their own room, which my oldest two have never shared a room or never had their own rooms before, except when they were like infants. And so, or early toddler years for Ira. But anyways, they get their own room now, and so everything can kind of be settled into place, and we're starting to move in, and it feels good. Like, it's so much a work in progress. There's still a lot more. But it kind of feels like I needed this quantity time in the home in order to start making it feel more quality, in order to start making it feel more me, more my family, more in alignment with our values and our vision for how we want to live our lives and experience our day-to-day. And I bring this all up because one, it's fun to hear about, and I think it's important that we talk about this kind of stuff because I think we have this idea that, like, it's going to, like, settling in or embracing a new routine, those types of things are gonna take no time at all. Like, we have this idea that once we realize what needs to change, then we just change it and we carry on. But that's, like, not at all. It's just so far from what actually is reality. Like, it takes time to settle in. It takes time to invest in a marriage. It takes time to know what you need from your space that you're living in so that you can then optimize it and integrate your life into it more fully and like move in, right? And in the same way, I have been craving this in my business. I think, for speaking from my own experience, I have been doing online business stuff for about 9-ish years, maybe 10 years, in one way or the other, right? This iteration of business I've been doing since Max was born, where I'm focusing primarily on websites, consulting, and business operations. And it's evolved in those times because it should. And I'm no longer focusing on websites and focusing more on consulting and on coaching and on like back end business operations, strategic planning. And I have more sort of services and products and offerings coming out of an outspace of that because I've had this trial and error period where I realized, oh, this is where I need to take my business. This is what I want to work on. But because I'm a stay-at-home mom, and because I'm working on it truly in the most marginal of margin time of my day, or really, really late at night, or really, really early in the morning, like in times when I'm not truly my best anyways, except this year. Like this year, the last couple of months, I've had the ability to start working on stuff and I increased my revenue by 40%. And like I've gotten to see, okay, this stuff is working, but it still feels bumpy and I still don't feel like I have a good routine. I still feel things feel kind of clunky still. And we're almost done with the year. Like we're very close to being done with the year. And I think I shared about this, I think in last episode, maybe it was 2 episodes, where I expected to be in a different place than I am right now. I expected to be quite blunt, further along than where I am. And that feels frustrating. And I know from speaking with client after client after client that I am not alone in that feeling by any means. And as I've been going through this experience with Brian, realizing how important quantity time is in order to get to that quality time, I'm noticing how much that is true for everything, for my home, for my business, for our relationship with the Lord, our relationship with friends, for wrestling through new ideas. And because for my business specifically, because I've been a stay-at-home mom and I am working in these like very marginal time periods, that process has felt so much more expanded and slow. And so then when I look to men and women who are running businesses and creating these big, beautiful communities and these offer ecosystems that I really admire and feel very grateful that they have created because I have benefited from it. And because like, what a cool thing to build. Like I do not begrudge these people in any way, but expecting myself to be able to go through that sort of growth journey in the same way as them is just utterly ridiculous. Like I have had to trial and error things at a slower pace, which means I come to the result and the outcome or just the like realization of like, is this going to be a good fit or not good for me at a slower pace. And I think it accentuates that feeling of failure. It accentuates that feeling of like, wait, I should be in XYZ place and I'm not. And it's taken me so much longer than my peers to get there. And that is painful and exhausting and tiring and hard. And those things are true. Those things are very, very true. And learning how to go at a slower pace like that has been the like fight for my life in the last decade. And there's some things that I wish I would have. I knew I needed to do it in my brain. I was actually just talking to a friend about this. Like I knew I needed and even wanted to let go of this idea of like fighting really hard for a goal and just like let myself settle into where I was then. I tried. I really believe I tried, but it was hard for me. And I don't think I did a very good job at it. Just like objectively speaking, I'm not beating myself up from that. Like what's done is what's done. And I can look back and learn on it and I don't need to dwell and like obsess over it. But I do feel like I'm at this crux now in my life where my kids are in school most of the time. Max is not full time, but like way more than he ever was before. I probably got about 16 to 20 hours a week of work time on an average week, which is more than I've ever had in my entire adult life. Working on online businesses. Like it truly feels like so much time to me now. But in reality, like I still have to be kind to myself because it's not a lot of time. Like it's not a lot of time. I have gotten to get a lot done in a small amount of time, but not at the rate that I was hoping. But it's because I expected myself to be able to like snap right into this new schedule, snap right into this new routine, snap right into this new mindset. And I would never expect that of my kids. I would never expect that of my husband or my friends or my clients, but yet I put this expectation on myself. And so I am bringing this all up because I'm grateful for what has been, mostly, because let's be real about that. And also, I can see the year of awful is coming to a close. If I'm being 100% honest, I think this next year is going to be hard. Like, just looking at the facts, it can't not be hard, like, based on circumstances in my life right now. And it isn't as raw, right? Like, it's not like a seeping, gaping, open wound so much as it's like, okay, we're in triage now. We're starting to bandage things. We're starting to like create a treatment plan. We're starting to move forward. And I feel like I really was blessed this last week to be able to do that with Brian, more than just triage, because that's just like an emergency, address the wounds, treat them, get yourself to like the real care center. But I feel very much like Brian and I got to have such a fruitful conversation, and I feel very blessed about that. And I feel like I'm starting that process with my home, right? And in many ways, I have done a lot of the foundational work for my business, but it's time to make it feel like me. It's time to move in. It still feels a bit disjointed. I still don't have certain elements that I am constantly teaching to my clients as an important foundation that I have not yet, that I've implemented, but it's been messy and haphazard or is no longer accurate to what I'm doing and it needs to be paused so that I can come back to it. And so this week I'm going to focus on creating 2 lists. I'm creating one list that's like, how can I be more intentional about like making my house feel like our home? Like getting things hung up on the walls, helping the kids move into their rooms, like simplifying the toys. That's one of my big, big goals is to get rid of 50%. 50%. We already have a pretty minimal, I would say, allotment of toys because I've been over the last year, especially really kind of ruthless about it. But I have some more I want to reduce even further. So working on that, working on creating a list of like, what are the priorities that I want to get done in my house and in my home to make it feel like, to evoke those kinds of feelings and help me and my husband and my family like live the kind of life that we really want to live within our space. And so I'm making a list of those things. And then my goal is to try and get 1 to 2 things done on it a week and just kind of go through the process so that it doesn't have to take up so much like mental bandwidth in my brain. Like I feel like I have every tab imaginable open and I'm constantly buffering because there's like no more RAM to open another tab. Like I have no more space. Like I'm tapping out on every way and I'm just tired, you guys. And I feel that way in my business too, right? So like that's the next list is I'm going to make a list about like what are the things that I need to prioritize, simplify and invest in to really hone in on these solid foundations that I have already worked to develop in my business and start to add those flourishes. Start to make it feel more well-rounded, more full, more so like something I'm really, really proud and excited to share with you guys because that's really important. Like when we feel really good about our business, about our brand visuals, about our brand messaging, about our offer ecosystem, about our products, it becomes easy, simple, fun, exciting even to share about it. It makes it so that we don't want to shut up about it, and that's going to lead to sales. Because man, do I ever have so much to say about sales. And I'm working on actually writing. I was going to just do like a 2-part little thing on Instagram, and I posted the first part, which I will also add a link to that if you're interested in it, just like of like how to approach sales as a Christian in a way that's not tacky and stupid. That might be harsh, but I feel like that's how I see it taught a lot within the like Christian space, like Christian business owners, I guess. Like, how can we approach it in a way that's like effective, that you're actually getting sales, but it's still in alignment with the gospel? Because in my perspective, sales is very much in alignment with the gospel already. And it's really easy for us to contort and twist that. So what was going to be just like a 2-part post on Instagram has now become an entire essay or article or whatever. And it might end up being several parts. So I'm working on finishing up that because apparently I have so much more to say about it than I thought. And so I'm excited to share that with you guys. But I'm at a point in business where I'm realizing it's like a chicken or the egg. Like, I'm realizing I really want to / need to invest in quality copywriting, though I think that that's a skill that I already do possess. I don't have the time to invest in it in the way that I want to. And it makes a lot of sense to pull somebody from the outside in. And I already know who I'm going to hire. I've already contacted her to get quotes and stuff. It's just a matter of waiting for the right time to invest in that financially, because the last 12 months has really kicked our feet out from under us. Financial goals aren't quite where they wanted to be. And that's just kind of the fact of the matter. And I'm really, really proud of everything that I've done to pivot in this last year. And I need to say that like on a recorded line so that when I forget all that I've accomplished and I get to a point where I get an opportunity to celebrate and be proud of the work that I've done, that I don't forget that, because I really am proud of the work that I've gotten to accomplish this year. One of the things I feel the most proud of is, honestly, well, there's 2. The first is the percolator. I have really reinvented the way the percolator goes. Our first session starts next week, so November 13th, for the second cohort. So I did 1 cohort last year, and it was wonderful and fruitful. I mean, as any beta, so I called it inaugural cohort, but that's just a fancy way to say beta cohort. And I noticed almost immediately some things needed to shift. And some of it I was able to shift during like the program, right? But a lot of it just needed to shift for the next iteration. And so that's what I've done. And so I am very excited for this new format, for the way that I'm going to get to show up for and serve the women who chose to invest in this mastermind. I'm going to be opening it up again for the 3rd cohort. So it kind of operates in a quarterly. I might switch it to 6 months, but right now I'm going to leave it at 4 months, I think. To me, that feels like a perfect kind of commitment level, because I don't like doing things at a shorter time period. And last time I did it with just 3 months and realized it's not enough time to get the result that I know is possible for you. And also, I like having containers be a little bit bigger. That way, you don't have to be engaged 110%, 100% of the time. Like, you can, for a month, really go all in, and then life happens and things go not how you expect, and you have to pull back a little bit for a month, and then you can kind of come back in the next month and still get the result. Like, still have the space that you might need to process, to wrestle, to practice strategic planning, to like clarify your offer ecosystem and get all those foundations in place that I'm going to help you create within the percolator. But not having to go like at 100% towards those goals is kind of why having longer containers is so nice. Like, that's why coaching and consulting and mentorship type packages should be, in my opinion, longer. And that's another conversation for another time. But that's something I feel really proud of. The second thing I feel really proud of as I look back on this last year is creating the sales page for Company Retreat. Honestly, I'm really proud of that sales page. It's beautiful. It so wonderfully articulates the vision for what I want these retreats to be. The next thing I'm really proud of is launching Company Retreat and not letting the complete failure that was that launch just utterly destroy me. Like, it didn't destroy me. It was a bummer and I was sad about it. And it happened in the height of so much family gunk on the back end, high trauma situations in Brian's work, high trauma situations at home on multiple fronts, a lot of like little things that went wrong. Cars broke down. Like it was really the crux of a lot of the difficult things that had happened within my last year, happened within the span of what was supposed to be the heavy focus for the launch for Company Retreat, which is my like in-person deep work, deep rest retreats that I'm going to be hosting on the Oregon coast once to twice a year. This next one is going to come up in March. And the first time I launched it was meant to be this fall. I was hoping to host it in October, and it just failed. And I can't help but now look back and be like, wow, what a layer of protection. Like, sure, strategically, there was stuff that I could have, should have, and I knew even then in order to sell well, in order to make more space to talk about this program, because it's a big financial commitment, though I say big financial commitment because it is an investment, but it's 7 full days, I guess 6 full days, because I don't know if the checkout day really counts in my opinion, but 6 full days of like consulting and coaching and rest and play and fun. And I'm going to spoil you. You will not have to cook a single meal. We are going to talk about all kinds of really great stuff as far as business. We're going to do Bible study. Like it's luxury at a very not luxury price point, and I feel proud of that as well. But there is another one coming up, and I'm really excited to kind of go all in and make this one of those kind of core offers for the author, for the creative, for the businesswoman who loves the Lord so much and needs to kind of take a sojourn away from their day-to-day lives to be able to focus on both deep work and deep rest. Like for the person who is weary, who is tired, but is also eager to do the work, that's what Company Retreat is about. That's what I'm going to facilitate you being able to do, which is why I've hosted it. I'm choosing to host these on the Oregon coast, specifically in or near Cannon Beach, Oregon. That's a city for me that feels kind of like a home away from home. It feels very spiritually safe. It's absolutely stunning. And it's kind of that perfect amount of like, there's enough touristy stuff, enough beauty, enough things we can go out and do and play without being so much that you just only want to be outside playing and you don't ever have time to like work and rest. Like it's that perfect amount of like stimulating, but not overstimulating, but not totally boring, right? Like I feel like it's like the perfect kind of midpoint, which is why Company Retreat is going to be hosted always from, at least at this point in time, on the Oregon coast, because I want it to be sort of like that. And I'm really, really, really looking forward to sharing this with you. I already have one person who has applied and I cannot wait. Applications are open now for the March retreat. It's March, I want to say it's the full week in March. So I think it's the 23rd through the 27th, I want to say. And we're going to do every single person who comes is going to get a brand shoot, and we're going to do a one-on-one like consulting type session. We're going to work on some strategic planning. We're going to focus on foundations. I can help you with your website. There will be some like workshops, probably 3 to 4 workshops, and lots of time for getting the work done. Lots of time for rest, lots of time for play. And so I'm so, so excited. And honestly, I feel really proud of myself for following the advice that I give my clients of like consistently working towards C- work or B- work is better than never having taken a step forward and getting an F. Like, and I really want that to settle in. Like, if you're in a place in your business where everything that I have said to you right now and everything that I'm sharing from my own experience really resonates with you, you're like, I am actually craving quantity time with my partner, with my spouse, with whatever. Or like, I also don't feel like my house is a home, or I also feel like my business is disjointed and everything is like, I'm feeling so far behind. I just want to remind you that B- C work over time is going to add up to be a higher grade point average than never having taken step forwards to find a solution or to implement the kind of dream life or business that you're feel truly called and eager and compelled to cultivate. And so, like, yeah, the goal is A, work, but I can publish something at a C- or B- and refine as I go. And that is what I recommend to you as well. And that's what I'm in now, right? Like that's the stage that I'm in now where I have created a lot of foundations that maybe aren't all perfect yet, that need some editing, that need some retouching, that I feel very proud of. I do feel very proud of the work that I've gotten to do up to this point, and it's time for me to take a big scary leap and invest in things that I know are going to bring me a bigger ROI in the end even if it kind of hurts a little bit right now, so that I can really step into this leadership role that I believe that God has put me in, so that I can spend more time working on writing my book than having to write sales pages. Though I love writing a sales page, and I think that there's nothing wrong with that. I think there's actually a lot of really good skills that come from kind of wrestling through those ideas. But like I've already done the wrestling and a lot of that stuff, and it's time to hand it off to somebody, to the expert that can do it for me, since I have such limited time. And that's kind of where I'm at. Like, and I don't know what, if anything, that you can take from this that feels encouraging and helpful for you, but I hope that it is. Like, I hope that as I get to share this stuff with you, you can say, oh, this, and this is really helpful for me, and this maybe isn't. So you don't even focus on that. Just like, right? I guess my prayer, what I'm trying to say here is, my prayer is that what you need to hear is what you remember. What God wants you to hear is what you remember, and then everything else just fades away. Because ultimately, that's what this space is meant to be. Like, it's meant to be a space where I get to chat with you, where we get to talk about life and business and faith and work, and kind of wrestle through these ideas messily, even when it's not perfect. Like, this is a space for B- work, and that's okay. Because my thing that makes me a good business owner isn't perfection. It's that I'm willing to take messy action. And that, I believe, is kind of the core theme for most business owners that go on to grow the kind of business that they feel proud of, is like just taking the messy action forward. That and simplifying, which is another episode for another time. Like, if your goal is to earn money through your business, you can't have 7,000 projects. You have to narrow in on your one thing, become known for the one thing, and then build out an offer ecosystem that supports the main one thing, right? And we talk about that a ton within Grounded, which is my strategic planning course. Right now, it's available for early access, so you'll save $200. You'll immediately get access to the first couple of modules, and then the remaining modules are going to come out within the next few weeks or months as I finish them up. And once that stuff gets finished, which will be sooner rather than later, because now that the percolator is launched, I can kind of go full in on finishing up the modules for Grounded and recording everything there and adding all the content to your workbook, et cetera, et cetera. Because the course is, yes, there's an audio course element, but a lot of it is like giving you the space and the prompts to wrestle through this content and take these kind of like time-tested foundational business truths with these time-tested foundational gospel truths and merge these things together so that you're creating a business that works for you now and will grow with you over time without you wasting your time, and help you get to the goal more quickly. Like how we talked about last week in the Office Hours episode with Emma, that like identifying and understanding our owner's intent is going to absolutely dictate the kind of business model that we have, the structure that we hold, the offer ecosystem that we create, and even the way we schedule our days. It all kind of comes down to like, how is your business going to serve you? And then the second question is like, how are you going to serve your people? What's your vision? And when we merge those two things together is when we can get a lot of clarity on how we walk that stuff out day to day. And so if you were wanting to be in the percolator but missed this cohort and you're waiting for the next cohort, I highly, highly, highly recommend investing in Grounded now. And everybody who does invest in Grounded is going to get extra early access to join in on the percolator. Like, I'm going to invite you first, because the way that we're going to do percolator applications for this next cohort and every cohort going forward is everybody who's currently in the percolator cohort. So right now we're in cohort 2. Everybody in cohort 2 will get an option to stay on for cohort 3 if they would like. Excuse me. And then after those people make their final decision, based on how much space is left available, I will only be selling and filling up those spaces. And the first people I'm going to invite are people who've invested in Grounded or who are on the wait list. The next people I'm going to invite is the rest of my email list, and then it will be opened up to the public. And the reason for that order of events is because if you're invested in Grounded, the percolator is meant to support you through going through that course and implementing all that you've learned within Grounded. You don't need to invest in Grounded in order to get a lot out of the percolator, but they are meant to be sort of like symbiotic in that way. They are meant to support one another. And so I want you to get access to that earlier to make sure that if you did actually want a spot within the percolator come cohort 3, when I reopen the doors in January, so it's only a few months from now, you can get access first. But okay, all that to say, I'm in a season of life right now where I need to embrace this quantity time, be really grateful for where I've gotten quantity time in my life, and start to take intentional steps towards quality in business, quality in time with my husband, with my kids, quality time in my relationship with the Lord, quality within my offering suite. Like, I'm done throwing spaghetti at the wall. I know what works and what doesn't work. I know what I'm working towards, and it's time to like lean in and do the work and take the scary risks and get it done. Yeah. And that's it. That's what I have to say today, guys. My friend, thanks for hanging out with us, with me. It's just us. I'm sorry. Who else is here? Nobody. Just me. I did want to share something that I'm really loving. I recently posted something on, oh my goodness, what is it called? Threads, about how, like, I am craving the 90s rom-coms, like the 90s, 85 to like rom-coms. 90s is peak. Let's all agree on that. But like Dirty Dancing, Pretty in Pink, like 10 Things, 10 Things I Hate About You is a good one too, but I meant to say How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Like, I could go on and on and on. There's 1,000, right? And I love them all. Like When Harry Met Sally, Sleepless in Seattle, like the good ones, right? And I've been craving a good modern one. I watched Materialist and I felt like meh about it. I don't know. It wasn't like endearing enough. I kind of felt left out, like let down. It had all the makings of being a good one. I liked their launch campaign better than I liked the movie, to be honest. So, what a bummer. I also just recently watched The Roses, which recently came out. And it's again like, it was witty, a very well made movie. The writing is hilarious and quality, but it was stressful to watch. And it took a lot of emotional bandwidth. And it was very divorcey and exhausting. And as we know, I'm walking through that with my parents, and I don't want more about divorce. Like I feel like every cozy movie Brian and I are hoping is going to be a cozy like rom-com has been just divorcey and explosive-y and murdery and stressful. Anyways, so I lamented about this on Threads. And the last time I checked, I had like 140 comments. Oh, you guys have thoughts about it. And there's a huge list of rom-coms, whether modern or old, that are maybe like in that 90s era that are like lesser known. So if you're also looking for a cozy rom-com that's giving like When Harry Met Sally kind of vibes, scroll through those comments because maybe you'll find your next favorite, because that's something that I'm going to be doing. I might put together like a list and share it with everybody of like some of the ones that are like recommended the most, because that would be fun. But we'll see if I get to do that or not. But I will say, on Netflix, the TV show with, my goodness, I'm just truly the worst with actors and actresses' names. Kristen Bell, and I can't remember who she acts opposite and what his name is. Whatever. But the TV show is called Nobody Wants This. And personally, I kind of think it feels that rom-com gap. A little bit more on the drama end, but like you still leave almost every episode feeling like warm. Like, it's not like everything isn't one giant cliffhanger after another. Like, even in the second season finale, like a lot of big stuff happens all at once, but you're left still feeling like warm and cozy at the end. And like, I'm okay with doing the drama and the explosiveness and whatever in the middle bits, but it has to end good. Like, I need a happy ending. I need it to feel like I'm in a Hallmark movie, please. And I feel like Nobody Wants This does that really well. So if you're looking for something fun to watch for kicks and giggles and for comfort, or if you maybe have seen trailers and you've kind of felt like, meh, I don't know if that's going to be for me. I don't know. I thought it was really fun and really good, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, well, that's all I have to talk to you about today. Thanks for hanging out with me. Talk next week. Bye.